In this video, we'll study about the histology of the lymphoid system. The lymphoid system includes the lymphatic vessels and the lymphoid tissue. Now we'll see about the lymphatic vessel. When the circulating blood reaches the capillaries, the part of its fluid content passes into the surrounding tissues as tissue fluid. Most of this fluid re-enters the capillary at their venous end. Some of it, however, return to a circulation through a separate system that is called as the lymphatic system. The fluid passing through the lymphatic vessels is called the lymph. The smallest lymphatic vessel or the lymphatic capillaries, they join together to form the larger lymphatic vessels. The larger lymphatic vessels in the body is the thoracic duct. It drains the lymph from the greater part of the body, and the thoracic duct ends by joining the left subclavian vein at its junction with the internal jugular vein. On the right side, there is the right lymphatic duct that has a similar termination. Next, we'll see about the lymphoid tissue. The lymphoid tissue may be broadly classified as a diffuse lymphoid tissue and dense lymphoid tissue. So first we'll see about the diffuse lymphoid tissue. The diffuse lymphoid tissue consists of diffusely arranged lymphocytes and plasma cells in the mucosa of the large intestine, trachea, bronchi and the urinary tract. Next we'll see about the dense lymphoid tissue. It consists of an aggregation of lymphocytes arranged in the form of nodules. These nodules are found either as a discrete encapsulated organ or in close association to the lining epithelium of the gut. The dense lymphoid tissue can therefore be divided as discrete lymphoid organs and mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. First we'll see the discrete lymphoid organs. So these include the thymus, the lymph nodes, the spleen and the tonsil. Next we'll see about the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, that is MALT, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Small number of lymphocytes may be present almost anywhere in the body, but significant aggregation are seen in relation to the mucosa of respiratory, alimentary and the urogenital tract. These aggregations are referred as the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, that is the MALT. The mucosa associated lymphoid tissue in the respiratory system is an aggregation which are relatively small and they are present in the walls of the trachea and large bronchi. So the term bronchial associated lymphoid tissue is applied to these aggregation. The mucosa associated lymphoid tissue in the alimentary system, this is also called as the gut associated lymphoid tissue. This includes the Peyer's patches of the ileum, adenoids, lingual tonsils in the posterior 1/3 of the tongue, the palatine tonsil and the lymphoid nodules in the vermiform appendix. The thymus and the bone marrow are primary lymphoid organ while others are secondary lymphoid organs. Now we'll see about the lymph. What is a lymph? It is a transudate from the blood and contains the same protein as in plasma but in smaller amounts and in somewhat different proportions. Suspended in the lymph, there are cells which are chiefly the lymphocytes. Most of these lymphocytes are added to the lymph as it passes through the lymph node, but some are derived from the tissues drained by the nodes. Large molecules of the fat, which are called as the chylomicrons, that are absorbed from the intestine enter the lymph vessels. After a fatty meal, these fat globules may be so numerous that the lymph becomes milky, and then it is called as the chyle. Under these conditions, the lymph vessels can be seen easily as they pass through the mesentery. Now we'll see about the lymphocytes. The cell population of a lymph node is made up of lymphocytes. In the embryo, the lymphocytes are derived from the mesenchymal cells which are present in the wall of the yolk sac, liver and in the spleen. These forms the stem cells. These stem cells later migrate to the bone marrow. The lymphocytes formed from these stem cells in the bone marrow enter the blood. Depending on their subsequent behavior, they are classified into two types. One is the T lymphocytes, the other one is the B lymphocyte. Some of the lymphocytes travel in the bloodstream to reach the thymus. Here they divide repeatedly and undergo certain changes, and they are now called as the T lymphocytes. T stands for thymus. These T lymphocytes that have been processed in the thymus re-enter the circulation to reach the lymphoid tissues in the lymph node, spleen, tonsil and intestine. In the lymph node, the T lymphocytes are found diffuse tissue around the lymphatic nodules. In the spleen, they are found in the white pulp. From these masses of lymphoid tissue, many of the lymphocytes they pass into the lymph vessels, and through them they go back into the circulation. In this way, the lymphocyte keep passing out of the blood into the lymphoid tissue and the bone marrow and back into the blood. About 85% of lymphocytes seen in the blood are T lymphocytes. Next we'll see about the B lymphocytes. The lymphocytes of a second group arising from the stem cells in the bone marrow, they enter into the bloodstream, but they do not go to the thymus. They go directly to the lymphoid tissues other than the thymus. Such lymphocytes are called as the B lymphocytes, and B stands for bursa of Fabricius. In contrast to the T lymphocytes that lie in the diffuse lymphoid tissue of the lymph node and the spleen, the B lymphocytes are seen in the lymphatic nodule. The germinal centers are formed by actively dividing B lymphocytes, while the dark rims of the lymphatic nodules are formed by dense aggregation of B lymphocytes. Like T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes also circulate between lymphoid tissues and the bloodstream. Next we'll see the lymphocytes and the immune system. The lymphocytes are an essential part of the immune system of the body that is responsible for defense against invasions by bacteria and other organisms. In contrast to the granulocytes and monocytes that attack directly invading the organisms, lymphocytes help to destroy them by producing substances that are called as antibodies. These are protein molecules that have the ability to recognize a foreign protein which is not normally present in the individual. This foreign protein is usually referred as antigen. Every antigen can be neutralized only by a specific antibody. It follows that the lymphocyte must be capable of producing a very wide range of antibodies, or rather that there must be a very wide variety of lymphocyte, each variety programmed to recognize a specific antigen and to produce antibodies against it. This function of antibody production is done by the B lymphocyte. When stimulated by the presence of an antigen, the cells they enlarge and they get converted into plasma cells. The plasma cells they produce antibodies. In this picture you can see, so these are the antigens. So the antigen which is recognized by the B lymphocyte, they enlarge to form the plasma cells and they secrete the antibody. The antibodies are also called as immunoglobulins. The immunoglobulins are 5 main types, namely the IgG, IgM, IgA, IgE and IgD. The T lymphocytes are also concerned with the immune response, but their role is somewhat different from the B lymphocyte. The T lymphocyte specialize in recognizing the cells that are foreign to the host body, and these may be the fungi, virus, tumor cells and cells of other individual. The T lymphocytes, they have the surface receptor that recognize the specific antigen. When exposed to suitable and stimulus, the T lymphocytes they multiply and they form the large cells that can destroy the abnormal cells by direct contact or by producing the cytotoxic substance that are called as the cytokines or lymphokines. Now you can understand the B lymphocyte defend the body through blood-borne antibodies, whereas the T lymphocytes are responsible for cell-mediated immune responses, that is the cellular immunity, whereas the B lymphocytes are responsible for humoral immunity. The T lymphocyte can also influence the immune responses of B lymphocyte as well as those of other T lymphocytes and also those of non-lymphocytic cells. Like B lymphocytes, some of the T lymphocytes also retain a memory of antigen encountered by them, and they can respond more strongly when the same antigen are encountered again. When you see the pathological correlation, the destruction of the foreign cells by the T lymphocyte is responsible for the rejection of tissues or organs that are grafted from one person to another. Such rejection is one of the major problems in the organ transplantation. Investigation using sophisticated techniques have established that the T lymphocytes can be divided into several categories. First is the cytotoxic T lymphocytes or the cytotoxic T cells. They attack and destroy other cells by release of lysosomal protein. They have the ability to recognize the protein that are foreign to the host body. The next group is a delayed type hypersensitivity related T cells. They synthesize and release the lymphokines when they come in contact with the antigen. The lymphokine attract macrophages into this area and they also stimulate the macrophages to destroy the antigen. One type of cytokine called interleukin 2, they stimulate the proliferation of both B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. The third group is the helper T cells or TH cells. They play a rather indirect role in stimulating the production of antibodies by B lymphocyte. When a macrophage ingests an antigen, some products of antigen breakdown pass through the cell surface. Here they combine with the special molecule, that is the class 2 MHC molecule, which is present in the cell membrane. This complex of antigen remnant and MHC protein present on the macrophage can be recognized by helper T cells. When the helper T cells come in contact with this complex, they look for B lymphocytes capable of producing antibody against the particular antigen. They then stimulate the B lymphocytes to multiply so that the large number of B lymphocytes capable of producing antibody against the particular antigen are produced. So this is how immunity against the particular antigen is acquired. The helper T cells are specifically destroyed by the virus responsible for acquired immune deficiency syndrome, that is AIDS, which results in the loss of immunity. The fourth group of cells are suppressor T cells or TS cells. They have a role opposite to that of the helper T cells. They suppress the activities of B lymphocytes and of other T lymphocytes. The possibility of such suppression allows fine control of activities of the lymphocytes. The fifth group is the natural killer cells, which are similar to the cytotoxic T cells, but their actions are less specific than those of the cytotoxic T cells, and these cells can destroy the virus infected cells and some tumor cells. Their structure is somewhat different from that of the typical lymphocytes. The natural killer cells are regarded by some as a third variety of lymphocyte in addition to the B lymphocytes and T lymphocyte, as markers in them are different from those in the typical T lymphocytes. Next we'll see the markers for the cells of the immune system. Many proteins that are specific to the cells of the immune system are now recognized, and these may be cytosolic or cell membrane protein. Using antibodies specific to these proteins, it is possible to identify many varieties of lymphocytes and macrophages. The proteins are called as the cluster designation molecules. In short, they are called as the CD molecules. So they are designated by number like CD1, CD2, etc. When you see the pathological correlation, the virus, HIV virus that causes the disease called AIDS attaches itself to the protein CD4 present on the cell membrane and destroys the cell bearing this protein. Reduction in the number of CD4 bearing lymphocyte is an important indicator of the progress of AIDS. Next we'll see about the cytokines or lymphokines. So we have seen that the T lymphocyte produce cytokines that affect other cells. The main function of these cytokines is to stimulate the production of blood cells and their precursors. Apart from the T cells, the cytokines are also produced by the monocytes, the macrophages, and some fibroblasts and some endothelial cells. Some of the cytokines which are identified are the interleukin, which can be numbered from 1 to 11. So these are 11 known types of interleukin. Then you have the granulocyte colony stimulating factor, GCSF, granulocyte colony stimulating factor. Then you have the macrophage colony stimulating factor. Then you have the granulocyte macrophage colony stimulating factor. Then you have the stem cell factor and erythropoietin. In the next video, we'll see about the mononuclear phagocyte system.